Welcome back, guys. In today's video we're talking about the Lost in Love season finale, the last episode that finally wrapped up Savi and Neil's story. A lot went down in these final moments. We saw Savi making huge sacrifices for Neil and his family, Bhagyashrie's emotional breakdown, and that shocking scene where Neil collapses after overhearing the truth. Things really took a dark turn for a moment, especially when the doctor said Neil had slipped into a coma, but the next part brought all the emotions full circle. Lina informs Bhagyashri that they cannot reveal the truth to Neil while he is still recovering and promises to send the children in a few days. However, Bhagyashri demands they come immediately, declaring she cannot live without them. Lina reminds her of their agreement, keeping the kids until Neil recovers in exchange for help gaining custody of Kian and Sai, but Bhagyashri angrily dismisses the deal, caring only about her grandchildren. The heated argument triggers Bhagyashri's asthma attack, cutting the call short. Noticing Bhagyashri's distress, Riddhi calls Savi for help. Savi instructs her to take Bhagyashri to the hospital and rushes there herself, accidentally leaving her phone behind. Neil spots it and plans to return it to her, but Lina and Prachi lie, claiming Savi is on a police raid. Assuming she'll pick up Sai later, Neil continues his morning routine. At the hospital, Savi learns Bhagyashri is stable after timely treatment. While handling the payment, Neil notices the hospital charge on Savi's credit card and rushes over, followed by Lina, Prachi, and the Pradhan family. Savi confronts Bhagyashri about her self-destructive behavior, but Bhagyashri accuses her of stealing her grandchildren. Savi defends her presence in Neil's life, citing his sacrifice for Sai, and asserts that he is not her family, they are. Overhearing this, Neil collapses. Despite emergency efforts, the doctor declares he has slipped into a coma. Devastated, Lina blames both Bhagyashri and Savi, calling the latter inauspicious. A heartbroken Savi quietly leaves. Later, Savi takes Sai and Kian to Bhagyashri, acknowledging her pain and refusing to separate them further. She tearfully hugs Sai, who asks where her mother is going and wonders why Puki Baba, Neil, is missing. Bhagyashri, overwhelmed, watches as Savi departs in sorrow. Sai tearfully pleads with an unconscious Neil, whom she calls Puki Baba, to wake up, reminding him that even Pari's mother left without a word and now he's asleep too. She offers him chocolate, hoping for a response. Meanwhile, Savi breaks down in front of Lord Ganesha, questioning why she keeps losing everyone she loves. She begs for Neil's recovery, promising to distance herself from everyone if he just survives. Emotional, Sai tells Neil that if he becomes a star, she will too, because she can't live without him. As Bhagyashri arrives and urges Sai to leave, Neil clutches Sai's hand. The doctor enters to examine him. At the same time, Bhakti informs Savi that Srichand has confessed to all his crimes, including Teju and Rajat's murders. Although the confession marks victory, Savi feels hollow, saying Neil deserved to witness the moment too, as it was their shared fight. Soon, Bhagyashri and Sai share the news of Neil's regained consciousness. Sai says her prayers worked, just like her mother's. Overwhelmed, Bhagyashri admits to Savi that she was never a true mother and apologizes for her past mistakes. Savi breaks down and hugs her. Bhagyashree then announces her decision to leave the city with Riddhi and Tara, but encourages Savi to stay and begin anew with Neil. As the city gave her a second chance, Neil, now fully conscious, recalls his loved ones fondly. Savi watches from afar but, believing he no longer needs her, quietly walks away. Neil sees her leaving through the glass and is overwhelmed by memories. 2 days later, Neil tells Lena he wants to meet Savi. Lena discourages him, saying Savi considered the marriage a formality and has left with her children. But Neil insists Savi is his wife, and he only wants to ask her one question: did she ever truly feel anything for him? Later, as Savi prepares to leave for Mumbai, she brings out Roger's photo, saying their family is finally complete. Neil watches from a distance, silently accepting her choice. When Sai asks if Neil is joining them, Savi says no, but believes they'll see him again when the time is right. As their car pulls away, Savi spots Neil in the rearview mirror. He salutes her with a gentle smile. She asks the driver to stop and walks back to him. Sai joyfully calls out, "Pookie Baba." Neil asks Savi to stay, promising to protect her and the children forever. Savi gently declines, explaining that while she's grateful, she's learned to live on her own and now wants to focus on her children and healing. Accepting her choice, Neil makes one last request: to remain friends. Savi agrees. They shake hands and share a quiet farewell. As she walks back to the car with tears in her eyes, Neil stays behind, driving away. Savi reflects on her journey and the loved ones she's lost and found: her parents, Vishana, Rojat, and Neil. Remembering her mother's words, "When you're scared, say these words," Savi whispers them softly and smiles, finally at peace as she begins a new chapter. The show ended on a positive note.